still a cold front for like the next couple days. Just gonna kind of regroup, probably head back out there in the morning. I don't necessarily like hunting that stand I hunted tonight in the morning. I feel like I just bump deer, especially if it's calm. Just like when I got out of the stand tonight, there's 2 deer feeding in the field, so, and I spooked them too. So I'm just spooking everything recently, but that's okay. That's part of the game, little cat and mouse. And yeah, just regroup and try it in the morning. This is a block and tackle, a triangle. Is it bad luck if I hang the triangle before the deer is dead? That's the goal, to have that hanging there and then just bring said dead deer here and then hang it. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Check, check, mic check, 1, 2, hello. Hello. Okay. Check, check. Hello. I think it's safe to say we're rolling. Should I check just in case? Okay, yeah, we're rolling. My name is Sam Sobi. I'm a hardcore angler, but today we will be talking hunting because I'm trying to not suck at it. I don't think anybody sucks at hunting, but there's different things you can do to help put yourself in a good position. Maybe that's what we're going to talk about today. I've been burned, and I burned myself so many times over by not thinking about or doing the simple things. Here are 5 simple things that have really changed the way I hunt. Just even consciously thinking about it can really help your hunt, I think. So let's get her going. Obviously, like you guys know, or maybe you don't know, I'm not some crazy professional hunter, big buck killer, been bow hunting 50 years type of a guy. I've been bow hunting for like 10, 12 years. Majority of that has been harvesting a doe every year. And each year, especially during the rut, you know, I go out bow hunting with aspirations to kill a buck that's good to me, which is like a 3-year-old buck for my standards. And to be honest, I haven't capitalized a lot with my bow for bucks. Mainly, most of my bucks have come gun hunting. And I want that to change, obviously. So yeah, let's jump right into it, because recently I've been hunting like an absolute madman, and I haven't necessarily killed anything this year, but what I've seen and what I've learned has, yeah, it's just blown my mind. Tip number 1, let's talk about access, entry, and map work. This is extremely simple stuff to think about and do, and this is just something I recently started doing like 2 years ago. I never used to look at satellite maps or aerial maps. Like when I go bass fishing or fishing in general, I'm always looking at the map. I'm looking at contours, I'm looking at everything. When I went hunting, I always just kind of put up a stand or put stands in areas I saw deer activity. I was like, all right, there's deer here, let's hunt it, and boom, that was it. That was wrong. When you really look at an aerial map, and everybody can do this because everyone has a smartphone, whether it be Google Earth or your satellite, you can change it to terrain mode. You can really look at the land, either the public land you're hunting, the private land you have permission for, or whatever piece you're going to be hunting this year. You can look at it and really make a good game plan of, okay, here's potential bedding areas. Here's where it looks like they're going to bed down it. It's thick, it's a thicket, it's a swamp, it's lowland. Here's the agriculture around it. Here's maybe some highways they might travel. Where are the deer living? Where are they moving? And just looking at an aerial map can really give you a good understanding of, oh, here's how the land actually lays out. So besides that, access and entry. This is something I never thought about for years, and it was kind of right in front of my face. I would put stands way back in pieces of public land or way back in a piece of private that I had permission on, and they'd be awesome spots. You know, you can see the deer activity in the trails. I'd be seeing a lot of deer, and then I'd go and hunt these stands in the morning, and it would be extremely loud. I'd be bumping deer getting into there, and I never really thought of what's the cleanest way for me to access this spot, and is this spot even truly accessible in the morning? Am I doing more harm than good by even hunting this spot in the morning? So, and there's some spots I've looked at on the map now where I've got stands way back in a piece of public land or private land that I go, you know what? I'm just not going to hunt here in the morning. Or maybe I'll hunt there in the later morning. Maybe I'll slip in at 10, 11 o'clock and then sit the rest of the day. Because you can jeopardize your whole hunt by bumping the land. So in the morning, I like to hunt the fringes. Quick access in. I'm not making a lot of noise, whether that's on a field edge, the edge of some timber, just on the edge of some swamp. Anywhere I can kind of slip in quiet and get up in there. It might not be the highest percentage spot, but I'm not going to ruin the land and educate a bunch of deer going way back in. This is something I never used to do, but something I've been doing recently, and I'm bumping way less deer, and I feel like I'm keeping the land a little more pure, and I'm not letting the deer know that I'm hunting them. Because as soon as they really know they're getting bumped around and pressured and they're being hunted, that can change the whole dynamic of the land and where you're hunting. Tip number 2, I've known about this for a long time, but I never really thought about it as hard as I have been this year or the past couple of years. And you hear people say it all the time. Play the wind. The wind, make the wind your friend. Look at a map. This goes back to the map work. Look at the map. See how your land sets up and how it's oriented. North, east, south, west. Now, understand you can look at any app and it'll tell you it's a northwest wind or it's a southwest wind. This should dictate the stand you hunt or where you hunt. And I know a lot of you maybe only have one deer stand set out, and that's okay. Or maybe you don't have any deer stands set out. If the wind is not in your favor, either I say don't hunt or hunt in a different location, even if it's on the ground. Even if you go up on a big observation point, you go up on a big hillside, hunt somewhere where the wind's going to be in your favor, and even if you don't feel like you're going to put yourself in a position to kill deer that night, you might learn something just going out, sitting, glassing from a long ways away. So please make wind your friend, not only when you're walking in the woods, but your stand setups, and determine if you should even hunt that day. If you know where they're coming from or where they're going, and you're set up with your face into the wind, good to go. If you think they're coming from a certain area and your wind is blowing right into it, don't hunt that stand, relocate, take the stand down, or just hunt on the ground in a different spot. Play the freaking wind over anything. All right, tip or advice number 3, and this is something I've learned a lot this year and last year, and I made the mistake of it already this year. Don't give yourself away. If you're a bow hunter, you have the opportunity in many states to hunt from the middle of September all the way to January 1st. In a majority of the states in the Midwest, the end of October and early November is prime time for the rut to kill a buck. And not to say you're all buck hunters, but don't give yourself away. Don't overhunt. I've been hunting a few different pieces of private property and public land extremely hard since bow open. And that's just because I was gung-ho, I was ready to get at it. And I feel like every time you walk in the woods and you walk out, it decreases your chances of killing a deer. Just because you educate them. You bump deer going in, you bump deer going out, you get your scent everywhere. Every time you access and you exit a piece of land, it's just, I feel like it goes down. In a couple pieces of land that I know big bucks come to, or at least some bucks live on, I wish I had not hunted that as hard in September or early October. I wish I had waited till right now, end of October, and some of these days were my first time going in that land. I feel like I've educated a lot of deer this year, and basically what I'm trying to say is, if you're a bow hunter, don't overhunt. All right, this also falls under don't give yourself away. Especially in high school, or even 3 years ago, I did this all the time. I felt like I skylighted myself or I silhouetted myself. I didn't really think about the back cover behind me. When I hung a tree stand, I would hang it in a nice big tall tree. I'd have beautiful shooting lanes. a great observation point to kind of see how these deer are coming in. I was like, I'm golden. But it would just be this one tall tree and my giant body sticking out, and it seems like mature does or bucks would pick me off from a long ways away. I didn't have good cover in front of me. I didn't have good cover behind me. I was getting silhouetted or skylighted. This is obviously something to think about, especially if you're a bow hunter. If you're a gun hunter, a lot of times you can get away with it because you're shooting from a much farther distance, but think about the cover behind you and how you're being backlit. All right, last one that falls under don't give yourself away. Technology. Technology is so sweet for deer hunting. I'm running a lot of trail cameras, cell cams that send a picture right to my cell phone. I'm learning so much about this piece of property and some other public lands that I'm hunting just from putting trail cams out and them sending me back pictures instantly. But on the flip side, technology has really burned me. Setting up different cameras and then my cell phone. Sometimes when I get in the stand and if I haven't seen anything for hours, it's so easy to freaking pop on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I get flipping, all of a sudden, boom, there's a deer right there, and it's busting me. Boom, a deer comes out of there. Boom, deer are working this way to that way, and you never see them because you're so hyper-focused on your phone. What I'm doing now is I'm putting my phone on Do Not Disturb, on silent. I put it in my pocket, and I'm not looking at it. Cell phones are obviously nice if you party hunt because you can contact each other if you shot or if somebody needs some help, but for the most part, I've just been burned so hard in the past by playing on my phone like a little 14-year-old. So, all right, number 4. And this just goes back to creating a plan and doing a lot of thinking while you're in the woods and outside of the woods. How are the deer using your land? How does your land set up? Whether you're hunting private, public, whether you're hunting 500 acres or you're hunting a 5-acre piece, understanding how the deer use your land and when they use your land is so important. And it comes with time too. So over the past couple years, I've been hunting this new tiny piece of private land. A lot of deer don't live on it, but they use it, especially during the rut. It's like a good pass-through area between one piece of hardwoods in a bedding area and this piece of hardwoods in a bedding area. And I'm planted right here. So if I'm not getting a lot of activity on that land during early October, I don't need to freak out. This is a big highway for bucks and other deer to travel come the end of October, early November when the rut hits. So knowing that my land sets up that way, I should be entering that land late October, focusing in on the rut, focusing in on getting aggressive and calling to these deer. Understanding how your land works and how the deer use it it's totally changed my mindset when I go into a piece of public land or hunt the private I have permission for. And like we know, deer's patterns change. Whether it's summertime pattern, early fall, a lot of them are just going bed to food, bed to food. Pre-rut, into rut, these bucks are on their feet, they're marking their territory, they're getting aggressive, they're breaking out of their bachelor groups, they no longer are hanging out with all their buddies, they're coming onto land that they might not live on all year long, and that's your time when you can really capitalize, especially before the end of the rut, where these bucks are locked up with does. So knowing how your land sets up even to other people's land is something I really want you to think about, and that all goes back to looking at the map and kind of formulating a plan, what works best for you. And number 5, I don't care if you're a bow hunter, a rifle hunter, a crossbow hunter, a shotgun hunter, the last tip is the shot. Hunting ethical, but hunting aggressive, and really understanding your shot and being able to draw a visual line through that deer. Understanding where the deer's vitals are is very important, but being able to visually draw that line when you're out in the woods of here's where my arrow or my bullet is going to enter, and then where is it going to exit, especially if the deer is not exactly broadside. If it's quartering to, quartering away, these are all things to think about. If it's quartering away, you want to push it farther back. If it's quartering to, you might want to wait a little bit. He's got a lot of cover with his front shoulder up there. These are all things to think about. So even if you're playing around at home, draw a picture of a deer quartering to, quartering away, and then consider your bullet goes in here and then where is it exiting. Just really being able to kind of think about that, understand that, I think that's going to help you make a much more ethical and proficient shot when you're out in the woods. I've been very fortunate, but I've also been a pretty patient hunter. I could have gotten aggressive in some different situations if I had known, okay, if he's extremely quartering away, I can take this shot here. Here's where I need to aim. So I guess I've been burned there. And then I've had other buddies that they've shot right for the vitals, but the deer's been extremely quartering away or quartering to, and the exit isn't where they want it to be, and the entry isn't really where they want it to be, and it's resulted in lost deer. So if you're an average Joe deer hunter like me, maybe none of this helped, maybe 1 or 2 things helped, but these are the 5 things I'm really thinking about as I'm just trying to become a little bit better and a more experienced hunter. I'll review them one more time. Access entry, scent control, wind direction, make the wind your friend. Don't give yourself away. Go early, stay late, stay off your phone, don't get skylighted. Number 4, how are the deer using your land? Look at the map, really understand potentially where these deer are sleeping, potentially where they're eating, and where they're moving. And last but not least, the shot. Think about the shot. Draw a visual line in your mind. Where is your bullet or your arrow entering, and where is it exiting, and where are the vitals? Just stay conscious about all this as you kind of formulate a plan to go in and kill a deer this fall. So yeah, I know I haven't been posting as many videos. It's been a cold front here in the Midwest, and I've been hunting like a freaking madman. And yeah, I'm gonna continue to hunt like a madman. I've got a goal this year. I really want to crush a good buck to me, a 3-year-old buck with the bow on camera, and it's tough. It's freaking tough. I don't hunt crazy awesome land. I hunt very mediocre land, but I've came up with a plan, and I'm gonna give it a go. And no matter what happens, I'm gonna learn something about this land and how deer use it along the way. So good luck to you. Hope each and every one of you getting excited for deer hunting if you haven't been out yet, and good luck. Comment down below if you have any tips or tricks too that you found has helped you or maybe your buddies in the past. So yeah, I guess there's nothing left to be said than stay tuned, and as always, let the adventure begin.
Move ahead, oh my pretty babe, something ain't right. Got to find a way to move ahead.